Hey guys, it's Doona here. Thanks so much for tuning in. So, the past couple months, we have all been social distancing, but I hope you've been following some of my other videos to help you keep moving your body, as yoga is one of the best ways to prevent any aches, any tensions during your pregnancy. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time, welcome. Today, we're going to focus on releasing any sciatica pain. If you don't have sciatica, generally, once you get more into your third trimester, we start to develop some of the sciatica symptoms, such as, tight lower back, a little lower back pain, maybe a little bit stinging through the back of the leg. So today, we're going to help to release that, focusing a lot on hips, even the outer glutes, even stretching into the lower back as well as the hamstrings. So at any time throughout your practice, take as many breaks as you need. All right, so listen to your body and we'll go ahead and get started on our back. So let's go ahead and lie down on your back with your feet planted, about hip width distance apart. From here, make sure to scoot your hips forward so that the lower back is fully grounded and the core is hugged in. Now bring your knees in towards each other and walk your feet out as far as you can go without the knees separating. So finding a nice internal rotation through your hips, getting your hip flexors as well as your inner thigh stretch. Then place your arms next to your side, either palms face up or down, relaxing your shoulders. Close your eyes and take a deep inhale through your nose. And a big open mouth sigh out. Good. Taking a couple more rounds on your own, just like that. So really focusing on your breath throughout the next 30 minutes or so. Really focusing on slowing down the mind, the body, as well as the breath at any time, especially because we're pregnant. It might be a little bit more difficult for you to breathe. So feel free to take open mouth exhales. One more here. Breathe in. And let it go. Good. On your inhale, gently open up your knees. Tee out your arms, palms face down, and just start to drop your knees over to the left. Come back to center, drop your knees over to the right. Now this time, focusing on both internal and external rotation through your hips, getting into your frontal hip bones and outer hips here. Really nice for the lower back, getting that release. Keeping the shoulders relaxed. Opening up through the chest. Then once your knees are dropped over to the left, pause. Either stay here or stack your left ankle on top of right thigh. Feel free to gaze up or maybe gaze past your right shoulder and taking a couple rounds of breath here. At any time throughout your practice, if you feel any pain, any tension anywhere, if it's too much for you, again, listen to your body by stopping or skipping. Okay, just because I'm in this position doesn't mean that you have to. Listen to your body. All right, so bring your gaze back up towards the ceiling. Keep your left ankle on top of right thigh and bring your knees back to center. Plant your right foot back to center. You could neutralize your spine. Either stay here in your figure 4 as you press your left knee away from your chest. Otherwise, pick your right foot up, interlace your fingers behind your right thigh. Make sure your left ankle is flexed so your leg stays active. Drop your shoulders down your back towards the floor and away from your ears. So inviting lots of space around your neck area. Targeting our hamstrings. Inhale, straighten your right leg. Flex your right foot. And as you exhale, bend your right knee, getting more into the hips. Inhale to straighten. Exhales to bend. Do 3 more on your own, moving breath to movement. So the movement should be slow. Don't focus on going so fast. This is not cardio or aerobics. Be intentional. Last one, at least for me. Good. As you bend your right knee, release your hands, drop both feet down. Re-tee out your arms, palms face down. Go ahead and just shake out your hips, swaying knees side to side. And then switching over to the other side, drop your knees over to the right. Hook your right ankle on top of the left thigh. Keep your right foot flexed and gracefully guide your left thigh down. So getting that stretch into the front hip. Gazes up or over to the left. Couple more rounds of breath here. Keeping your right ankle on top of the left thigh. Bring your legs back to center. Plant your left foot down. Again, option 1, hold here as you press your right knee forward, away from your chest. Otherwise, option 2, interlace your fingers behind your left thigh. Focus on broadening through your collarbones. So again, you're not crunching your shoulders up. Let them relax down your shoulder blades. Elongating through the back of your neck. Lower back stays grounded. Moving breath to movement. Inhale, straighten your left leg. Flex your left foot. Exhale, rebend. 4 more on your own. No need to rush. Whenever you're finished, release your hands and release your feet. Tee out your arms and sway your knees side to side. Let's come up to a seated position. So hug your knees into your chest. Rock forward and back a few times if you need. And then once you come into a seated position, feel free to grab your blocks to sit on. And let's come into an Indian style Sukhasana. Okay, so let's cross the right ankle over the left ankle first to make sure both sit bones are grounded. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. And exhale, twist over to the right. Now feel free to keep your arms open as you keep opening up through the chest. Otherwise, place your right hand behind your lower back. Left hand on top of right thigh. So using this left hand as a leverage to help you open and twist towards the right even more. Hug the belly in, lengthen the tailbone down, but keep lifting your chest. 1 more breath here. Come back to center. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. And exhale, twist over to the left. Any arm variation. Keep peeling your left shoulder back. Peel your left ribs back. Try to point your chest over towards the left corner of your mat. Keep lengthening your spine. Inhale, reach your arms over your head. Then exhale, bring your hands to heart. Good. Let's go ahead and cross the left ankle over the right. Again, shimmy out any goodness out of your sit bones. Inhale, reach your arms back over your head. And exhale, side body stretch. Plant your right hand next to your right hip. as you lean your left shoulder over towards the right, keeping your chest open. Relax the shoulders away from your ears. Energize through your left fingertips. Reach forward. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale over to the left. 3 breaths. Keeping your right sit bone grounded. Both hips are grounded. And let's come back to center. Downward facing dog. So this is your first downward facing dog. And first time watching my videos, I always like to set up downward facing dog from high plank position, where you're stacking your shoulders over wrist. And then from there, you're just going to push your hips up to downward facing dog. If you need to shorten your stance, just step your feet maybe 1 baby step forward, not too much. You don't want your down dog to be too short. Focusing on lengthening your spine, feel free to bend your knees a lot. If you're in your 3rd trimester and your belly's popping out, feel free to spread your feet a little wider, give more space. Don't worry about your heels touching the floor. Be light on your toes. Spreading all 10 fingertips. Pressing evenly into your fingertips and knuckles. 1 more breath here. Breathe in, relax your head. Breathe out, let it go. Good. Keep your feet where it's at. Walk your hands back towards your feet. So in your forward fold, again, depending where you're at, depending how big you are right now, you might have to bring your feet a little bit wider so that when you fold between your legs, you're able to give space for your baby. I'm in my 3rd trimester, 30 weeks. So for me, it's pretty wide. It's almost as wide as my mat. Inhale, halfway lift. So hands either places on top of your shin bones, maybe on top of your thighs. Lift your chest to lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips, forward folds. Let's do that 3 more times. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend your knees as much as you need. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. I think we got 1 more. Inhale. Exhale, folds. Again, bend your knees as much as you need. Keep lengthening your lower back. Inhale, gaze forward. And exhale, let's come back to downward facing dog. Take your time to settle into your down dog. Readjust your hands, your feet. Hands should be about shoulder width apart. Inhale. Step your right foot between, or rather, again, depending what trimester you're at. If you're in your 1st or 2nd trimester, you might be able to step your foot between your thumbs. At least for me, because I'm in my 3rd trimester, I'm getting bigger. I like to step my feet to the outside of my right hand. So that way I'm inviting a lot of space for my baby. Once your right foot is forward, make sure your right knee is over right ankle. Getting deep into those hips. Feel free to make circles with your hips. Sway it out front to back, side to side. Just warming up those hip joints. Good. Come back to center. Drop your left knee, and we're going to hold in our runner's lunge. Make sure you're on top of your left thigh rather than directly on your left knee. Okay, so for some, if you're on that kneecap, on that left kneecap, most of you will just need to shift your chest forward, keep bending the front knee, or some of you can scoot that left leg back. Breathing here. If you like, it's still beginning of the practice, so feel free to stay on top of your hands, but if you're pretty open, feel free to drop to your forearms. We're only holding for a couple more breaths.
Good. Replant your palms if it's not there already. Walk your right foot maybe 2 baby steps forward. And then straighten your right leg for modified or your half split position. So your hands might be in the inside of your right leg. It might be between your right leg. Okay. And notice if you're shifting your hips over to the left, I want you all to lift your chest and your hips up. Then draw your hips slightly over to the right. And then start to sink your right hip back. So now if you gaze back, your hips should be pretty square. Pelvis should stay neutral. Make sure your right toes are pointing straight up. Keep your spine long, no rounding in the upper back. Breath to movement. Inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips and fold over. 2 more times. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold a little deeper. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Good. Rebend your right knee. Let's come back to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg. Hop your right foot back. Downward facing dog. Feel free to take child's pose. Dropping to your knees. Dropping to your forehead. Taking a couple of breaths there if you like. Switching sides. Gaze forward. Step your left foot either between your hands or towards the outside of that left hand. Keep your right knee lifted. It might take you a couple more steps to get your left foot forward so that left knee is over the left ankle. Take your time. Once you're in your lizard pose, your lunge position, sway it out. Good. Now drop to your right knee and hold here. Keep your chest lifted. So focus on pulling your sternum forward. Notice where you feel it more. Maybe some of you feel in the right hip flexor, the psoas area. Some of you might feel it more in that left outer glute, outer hip area. Couple more rounds of breath here. Breathe into your hips. Good. Replant your hands. Let's come back to, or rather, half splits. So again, walk your left foot slightly forward, then straighten your left leg. So we do that because we want our hips directly over that right knee. We don't want to lean forward too much or lean way past that knee. Re-square your hips. Hug your outer glutes in. Flex your left foot. Feel free to bend through the left knee. Pull your chest forward. Breath to movement. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, hinge from your hips. Fold over. 2 more times. Good. Now rebend your left knee. Let's meet back in downward facing dog. And let's all meet in child's pose. Drop to your knees. Bring your knees as wide as your mat. Big toes a touch. And lower your forehead and your chest down. Taking a couple of rounds of breath here. Notice how your shoulders feels. Notice how those hips feel now. How are your knees? If it's too much tension, place blankets underneath them, skip it. So just checking internally as well as externally. Good. On your next inhale, gaze forward. And as you exhale, back to downward facing dog. Good. All right, step your feet forward behind your wrist.
Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward folds. Inhale, rise all the way up, mountain pose. And exhale, hands to heart. Awesome. Let's go ahead and step your right foot way back into a wide-legged forward stance. Make sure your feet are parallel. I like to point my toes slightly in. Your toes should never be out. Okay, when you forward fold, you want to protect those knees. Good. Okay, bring your hands on top of your hips. Inhale, lift your chest, open your heart. And as you exhale, hinge from your hips and fold over your legs. Wide-legged forward fold. Drop your hands back. Wrist stacks underneath your elbows. As for me, I like to kind of shorten the stance. So feel free to readjust the feet. You should feel a deep stretch into your calves, hamstrings, into your lower back, as well as your hips. Just hanging out here, relaxing, resisting any tension. Try to be light on your toes. Breathing. Good. Plant your hands forward so that now lengthen your spine and bring your hands right underneath your shoulders. You might have to repoint your toes slightly out. Maybe point them forward. Widen your stance if you need. As you inhale, lengthen your spine. And as you exhale, bend your right knee. Okay, so Skandasana variation. We're not dropping all the way down, just keeping your hips lifted. Right knee bent. Good. Come back to center. And then switching sides, bend your left knee. Okay, so not only should you feel this in your hips, but getting deep into the inner thighs. Breath to movement. Come back to center. And as you exhale, bend the right knee. Keeping your spine long. Inhale, center. Exhale over to the left. One more time on each side. Inhale, center. Exhale to the right. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Come back to center. This time, point your toes in, heels in, toes out. Inhale, rise all the way up to start pose. And as you exhale, horse pose. Bend your knees, glue your elbows to your side. Place your hands on top of your thighs. Spread your knees as wide as you can. Open those hips. You can kind of rock side to side here. Good. Inhale, rise, back to start. Exhale, rebend. We got two more. Inhale. Exhale. Maybe get a little bit deeper. Keep those tailbone tucked under. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Inhale, rise. And let's come back to the top of your mat. Good. Feel free to shake out your legs. Bring your feet about hip width. Inhale, mountain pose. And exhale, hinge from your hips and folds. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, downward facing dog. If you like to add a chaturanga, if that's in your practice, feel free to do so. And then we'll all meet in downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Good. Gaze forward and drop your knees down. Bring your knees about, or let's bring the knees together for now. Sit on your heels. If this is too much for your knees, go ahead and sit on your sit bones. Inhale, reach your arms over your head.
And as you exhale, fold over your legs and swing your arms behind you. Now, obviously, if you're in your third trimester, you always want to invite some space between your legs and just relax the arms. Couple breaths. Getting that nice stretch into the lower back. Good. Replant your hands.
And let's come standing on our knees.
All right. So this one, we don't want to go too deep into our back bend since we didn't really focus so much on it. So I want you to grab your 2 blocks. If you don't have your 2 blocks, that's okay. Keep your toes curled under. Bring the blocks next to your legs. So option 1, if you don't have a block, just hands behind your lower back, fingers points down. Squeeze your elbows together. Find that nice hip extension by pressing the hips forward, lengthening the tailbone down. Lift your chest as you inhale, and then as you exhale, just lean your upper chest back. So this is enough for you. Stay. Okay, getting that nice stretch into the hips. Abdominals opening up through the chest and your thoracic spine. Otherwise, feel free to grab your blocks. Keep lifting your chest. Lift away from your lower back. Open up the front of your throat. Last inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your hands to your lower back. And then let's go in and have a seat. A couple breaths. Sit up nice and tall. Awesome. All right, ladies. Such an amazing job. Let's go ahead and lie down on our backs. And then slow down before we take our Savasana, our well-rested Savasana. Again, scooting the hips forward so the lower back is fully grounded. Stomp your feet up towards the ceiling. Either grab behind your thighs, push your knees down. Otherwise, grab for the outside of your feet. Happy baby pose. I've had some friends say they're nurses while they delivered, telling them to get into happy baby pose. So this is a fun pose to help you. Open your hips and get ready for that big day. Good. You can sway side to side. Awesome. Bring your feet together like a diamond shape, butterfly legs. Push your knees out, keeping the lower back grounded. Shoulders down. Good. Drop your left leg. Hug your right knee into your chest. And let's cross your right knee over your body for your last spinal twist. So again, depending on how far along you are, feel free to twist only as deep as you like. Okay, don't go so deep. Come back to center. Neutralize your spine. Drop your right leg. Hug your left knee in. And then same thing on the other side. Cross your left knee over your body. But again, don't twist so deep. And depending on how far along you are. Come back to center. Again, neutralize your spine. Bring your knees into your chest. Your knees might be towards the outside of your chest, towards your armpits. Hug it in tight for 3. Keeping the lower back grounded for 2. And as you exhale, drop your legs out long. Spread your arms out wide.
final Shavasana, closing your eyes, getting as comfortable as you can. Now, if you're too far along in your trimester, feel free to come into fetal position, lying on either your right or left side. Doctors recommend sleeping on your left side. So if you're more comfortable with that, feel free to. And then I invite you to stay here for at least 2 minutes or so, taking this moment for yourself. Thank you so much for joining in. Ladies, congratulations. I hope your pregnancy has been going smooth. And if you have any questions, please comment below. Please like and subscribe. I'll see you guys next time.